Welcome to the Weekend Must Watch on Intercut, the weekly show going through movies, the TV, the entertainment, all that space stuff that people just can't cut away from. I'm your co-host Arturo Zurita, and joining me, ready to become the next face hugger, it's Zachary Shevich. Unless you have a different stage that you like in the process.
No, I mean, I don't know if at any stage of that process really appeals to me that much. It seems like one of the most horrifying things that can happen in a sci-fi movie, in a horror movie. It kind of gets at the best of both genres. A pretty terrifying place to go back to. No one can hear you scream in space, but no one can hear you scream when your face is occupied by a face hugger either. So there's a couple issues.
No. Hey, but on the internet, everyone can hear you complain about the movie, maybe defend the movie. There have been opinions galore on this film. It probably is the biggest film that we've got right now. So a big shout out to the Intercuties watching live, for those watching maybe later on for the comment section. We got a pretty chill one today because other than Alien Romulus, we got a couple of streaming movies that honestly, I felt like it's been back-to-back weeks of a movie that you're watching 15 minutes of and you're just going to forget. Am I wrong? Like, there's these streaming movies that are so forgettable, bro. We're in the midst of it. It feels like August. The August theater season has now moved to streaming.
Exactly. Yeah, they're saving the somewhat enjoyable stuff for theaters, but the Drek that we're normally used to, that sort of like sees the slow end of summer gets really slow. That's all on streaming. There is very little to do or to entertain you on Netflix, on Hulu, on Peacock, whatever it is, but movie theaters, it's the place to be for the movies.
Look, I don't know about you. You said you got to go today. I don't know if you're outside of the zone of when they were giving out the stuff. I don't think you... Did you see the IMAX?
Dolby, but yeah, they didn't have anything for me, unfortunately.
Dolby's pretty good. I got the chance. First and foremost, they're giving this out because of the... why am I blinking on what it's called?
Oh, the A24 re-releases. Yeah, that was just a free stuff. Giveaway. Are those stickers?
Oh, bro, it gets better. I was like, back to school, baby. Let's go. I would not.
The composition notebook.
Yeah, I guess it does count, right? It's 8th grade. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was just A24 movies, but it is. It's 8th grade, mid-90s. Talk to Me. I thought it was. I don't think they have the Bel Polly one, the Teenage Dream one. That would definitely not be a back to school movie. Bling Ring, I would also not consider that, but mid-90s, all that good stuff. And yeah, I like the S logo there. They were giving some of these out. I went there. A guy tried snatching all of them up. Lady told him to put it back. I got lucky. I was able to take one. And she gave me one of these. She was like, make sure you take one of these. I was like, I don't look like I am in high school, but I will take one for sure. For my night school.
Is there anything in the notebook, or is it just like a blank composition notebook? Like, can you take it to English class on Monday, or...
It's supposed to be filled with your ideas, Zach. It is.
Okay,
it is completely up to you.
It's a blank page.
It's just a regular one. She's like, you put these on here, and that's what they're doing for their back to school special. I thought that was really cool. You know, I still got my crayons from Harold, so I'm definitely gonna be
draw in your composition notebook.
There you go. But the real important stuff, the real reason why I left to go see another movie in theaters, even though I had already got into my pre-screening. And that was for this Deadpool thing right here. Obviously, Deadpool's still giving out more stuff. I don't know. There wasn't quite. There's a lot of stuff they were giving out, Zach. But for real. These are amazing, bro. They're giving out Wayland patches. If you got to see it in IMAX, Dolby, whatever it was, and it's like a real patch that you could just, like, I don't know, sew on, do whatever you need. But out of all the posters, because we're going to be going through them right now, out of all the posters that they had, they dropped a sick amount of really good posters. We put up with MCU stuff, just some of the most bland, generic things throughout the year. That Dolby poster was so sick, and they gave out these little pins for it. I loved it, bro. If you have a chance to go to a theater, they might still have them in the back. Just tell them that the toilet's plunged or something, and then sneak around. They always tend to have extras. They had a bunch for A Quiet Place and a lot of the other events, but no, that was...
Gotta ask our guy Connor if there's some more lying around his theater.
Nah, bro, Connor probably got the thing from the end of the movie, the cutout. Connor's always got the best stuff. Oh, man. All right, let's see. Josh says my mic's a little fuzzy. Zach,
yeah, maybe check in the settings that you're connected to the right mic and it's not going through your laptop or anything like that.
How does it sound? Come on, let me know, Zach. You are my ears.
I
It
think
might be
we're
that it's
levels,
too
but
loud.
is it?
I'm not sure, bro. I got the mic. You got the headphones.
Yeah, I mean, you sound a little fuzzier than normal, but like the levels are okay, and I
You
hear you
gotta let me know,
clearly.
bro. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
test,
yeah.
test, test. Let me know in the chat. Test, test. Should be good. Should be good. Should be
Yeah, I think you're good.
good. All right. Thank you, chat, for that. Thank you, Josh. Let's see. Let's break into it. I got to see Alien 2 times. You decided to wait to have it as fresh as possible for the stream. No one has heard this man's thoughts. So with that, the new Alien movie to be out in theaters, some people have had it divisive, some people have said it's the best, some people have said it's the worst. Zachary Shevich, what's your call?
Can I go in the middle? Do I have to be so definitive? I definitely had a really good time with it. It's as I said, the Alien franchise is a meeting between some of the most horrifying stuff you can imagine, some of the most interesting sci-fi stuff you can imagine. So you're getting the best of both genres, and I think Fede Alvarez does a really good job of realizing the space adventure aspect of it. Like there's the old creaky ship, and all those sequences are quite well realized, but then there is just the looming suspense and the horror of being chased around these narrow corridors by the facehuggers and xenomorphs and such. And I don't know, I thought particularly the first half was incredibly tense, incredibly suspenseful. It has a lot of really gnarly moments that are like feel pretty novel as well too. Whether it's some of the stuff that they do with the melting blood or whatever you want to call it, or the just the whole sequence with the whole sequence in the beginning with the facehuggers as well. I don't know. This is a franchise that I feel like normally does deliver in terms of entertainment, and it's just how much you connect to like the story around it and how deep you find that ultimately like proves to me which ones sort of feel like they will last. And I thought this was a pretty cool spin on it. I think a lot of people have been noticing that this is like a much younger cast than we normally get in these movies. Caitlin and I were joking that it's almost like Teen Alien or something like that, with a bunch of fresh faces. They're not so hard worn as the characters from previous films, but I think that also does help give it something kind of fresh, and they feel a little bit more naive in moments as well. So I had a good time with it, but I know that this is a franchise that means a lot to you. So you tell me, is this one of the best ones? Is this in the middle, or is this not even close to an Alien classic?
I don't think I've talked about Alien on this podcast, so I don't know if you know my love for Alien like that. You don't know how much I care for it. You don't know if this billboard back here has been an alien one the whole time, Zach.
Yeah, I don't know if we've done much on Intercut because we haven't had an Alien movie in a while, but like, come on, man, I know you. We host
Covenant?
a podcast together.
Look, there's a lot from the prequels in Covenant and Prometheus that I like. How's it sound? Decent? Okay. Like an echo? Not coming in?
It just sounds echoey.
Oh, all right. All right, let me know. Hopefully it don't sound too bad. If it does come out better on the audition recording, hopefully it'll be clear there. Just the way.
Yeah, we always end up
The
cutting these segments up and posting them with the recorded audio. So if anything happens during our live streams, those videos and the audio podcast that comes out later will be a bit smoother.
Yeah. I got an LME working on it, so I will be in HD. But to wrap it up here, I thought it delivered on everything that it needed to be. The fact that it was shot fully in IMAX, Feather coming in to do the horror aspect of it, all of that fired on all cylinders. I heard you mention the young cast. Was like when you saw it, was it really that jarring? Because I feel like people are making up some stuff with this. No one wants the old cast. The young cast makes sense. It fits with the story.
I'm not talking about like just that they're new characters. I'm talking about like Kaylee Spaney looks like a teenager to me, and maybe part of it. Sorry,
I don't think you think it's a problem, but I was like, why did people make that such an issue?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like I think a lot of people are used to used to maybe like the more character actor ensemble. And also, um, I think maybe some people think of the sort of like cynical idea that like, oh, maybe you get a young cast in here, so you get like people who are trendy, celebrity kind of, you know,
Yeah.
like it. There's like there's a cynical way to read it, but I didn't read it cynically. I thought that it reflected in the story of how these people are, you know, kind of being taken
Right.
advantage of in a way.
Easily. I thought I've heard him talk about that when you get a young cast, it's a lot better than an 80-year-old dying. Because you already know that person lived their life, but a young cast, it's like they're barely at their beginning stages. They're representing these people who want to leave this place. I've heard them say that it was a little CW-ish, which that's a critique I've used a couple of times, and I can see it with Dora. You know, a lot of people may recognize her. I think the boy Archie's definitely a very good-looking dude. I don't know, bro. Maybe it's just me because I'm a big Kaylee fan. I think she's adorable, but I think she's also able to fit into places. I think some people are overdoing the thing on like Spike. This man been in one movie. I think he fits in as your regular whippersnapper. His partner of Aileen, she's only been in one movie also. I thought it worked very well, especially for the story of them wanting to go to this other place. I do think that the standout besides Kaylee was David Johnson. We've been talking
Yes.
about this man on this podcast for a long time. Y'all know we've been shouting out Ryan Lane. Industry is streaming now, even though I don't think he's on it anymore. And good, because he has made the jump. And he is fantastic in this movie,
Yeah,
dude.
he's a legit
He's
star.
so good.
He's
Yeah.
really, really good in this movie. I think it really elevates it as well. I just think he has a real presence. There's the kind of like a mystery to how he delivers his lines. It's hard to get a full read on him, but in a way that makes you lean in, not lean out, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Just the fact that he does a lot of expressions with his face, and I never thought how well that would compute with a robot character. And I love the relationship between him and Spaney, because obviously there's a siblings through line that they have in the movie. The effects, like you were saying, it's finally a horror in space again, like the first Alien. I don't
Right.
know how you rank your Alien movies, be it Alien, Aliens. I don't. Maybe you an AVP fan, bro. I don't know, but I
Definitely
thought
not.
the mix of the two was very smart. Did you get bothered by the references? Because to me, I can do without all the references, and I still think there's a good movie here. I keep being surprised by the fact that some people are coming out saying and admitting that it's a good movie, and then they mad about one line and they throw it all away. Zach, is that the internet age, or am I just blinded and there really is too much fan service where people can only mention two things?
Maybe I've never been the kind of person who will let like a single small moment take away from the 90 120 minute experience. I mean, I think there are moments where it maybe feels a little bit too connected to the first movie for like my liking. I kind of was willing and interested in letting this stand alone a little bit more. There are some elements with characters who come back, which are my least favorite aspects of this movie. But it was nothing that made me like, I don't know, turned me on the movie. Nothing that I didn't feel like it overpowered what was new,
Yeah.
what felt
And you have a
fresh
good
about
barometer
Romulus.
because you're immune to the fan service. I'd say for the most part, like you're not going to get baited by it, so you
Yes.
know how to like see it for what it is. And
Yeah, I like
I don't
these
know. I
movies,
thought
but I have no like great desire to see, you know, what
you're not
happened
you're
to
not pulling the meme. Once upon a time
exactly.
in
I'm
Hollywood.
not
Exactly.
Leo
Yeah.
DiCaprio here.
Before the big ones, I would say there's a major quote. I don't want to spoil it. There's been this idea that now it's okay to spoil things. I don't know. There's like morality police. I've never seen atheists be so religious and zealot about certain things nowadays, because there are some instances where they do throwbacks to other movies. One is a quote in particular. We'll start with that one. I I I think that if you have never seen any of these movies and you sit down and watch that, like really just for the first time, I don't see how that isn't such a badass quote.
Right.
In reference to the other movie, yeah, it's pretty corny. It's pretty corny, but I do think they kind of answer it within the movie. But I do see there really being a problem with a certain character that appears. I'll put it that way. A lot of people want to spoil what it is. I did not get that spoiled for me when I went to go see it, so I got to experience it and also vomit almost in my mouth. I love this movie, and I could even tell you, I don't see any reason for that. There's some inkling story wise, But this is a movie that's boasting practicals, and they got the ugliest looking sequences when it comes to these scenes. You know, how did you
Yeah.
feel about that? Because we've been very vocal about Disney in particular casting this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, they Disney has seen over a lot of movies that feel really stuck in the past, right? There
Yeah.
there are all these franchises, and Star Wars is probably the best example of this, where
Oh,
there is a
right.
path forward to launch into new territory and stick behind your new characters, and instead they are so focused on retreading old territory, uh, focusing on characters from the legacy films, that it almost undermines what's new and exciting about these films.
Yeah.
And we're also now in territory where CGI has made it just so much more possible to do these things, but are they doing them well enough? Are we getting another, young Harrison Ford in the latest Indiana Jones sequel situation? Like, I just
I
don't
love The
think.
Irishman, right? I'm
Yeah,
always belittling that Irishman scene as much as I love it. It takes you out of the movie.
it takes you out of the movie, and just because we can doesn't mean we should in a lot of these
Honestly, bro.
scenarios. Look,
Yeah.
we you know as recently as Iron Man 2, I probably since then too, in we did this in the Fantastic Beasts, right? We used to just recast actors, right?
Game of Thrones is one
Terrence
of the best
Howard
ones. They
became
do it a lot.
Don Cheadle. Johnny Depp
Yes.
became, what was it? Colin Farrell. Oh no, Mads Mikkelsen.
Mods. Yeah,
It's
mods. Yeah.
it's fine. Like, people will get over it. This is a tradition in films. If you tell me, oh, this person is now Rhodey, I get it. I'm not like, but how is that possible? How did he
Yeah.
transform?
Yeah. And the
We
worst
should.
part is I think that this go bro.
I was just gonna say, I think there's just this weird reluctance to stick by new actors.
Yeah. And it's crazy because even Fede said it's because when they were doing this process, some people said, "Oh, you're taking jobs from new actors," and he goes, "It's the complete opposite. It actually costs more. It takes like 4 times the money. You got 45 people working on effects. You still got to hire a voice actor. And it's almost like,
And it looks
did
4
you
times
agree with
uglier.
this? Wait, yeah, did you even want to do this? Like he was giving every reason why not to have that up on screen. And yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't work. This has been the one thing that I have not heard any fan, even the ones who swallow every Easter egg that comes their way. No one has really praised this. No one has really liked it. I've seen some people like the line, even though it's a callback and maybe even a little derivative. They're like, yeah, but it looks cool in the scene. Alright, I feel that. I have heard nothing about this. And the worst part is that some people have taken it, right, and they're like, oh, it ruins the whole movie. I don't think it's that. Like, it's bad, but it's not pivotal to the point that if you were to swap out the face for it to be another actor, there's nothing else to change in that character. The character still serves the purpose of being that anchor up in space that's almost trying to mess with them. So it's like,
Right.
I see some of the criticisms, and it's like, other than being on a moral high ground, which for sure, if they've cleared it with the family and whatever else, the most you can do is just roll your eyes and be like, it ruins that aspect of the movie. But
Yeah.
it doesn't ruin the whole movie for me, in my opinion, you know?
Yeah. I was going to
It's
ask you
just
about
a
that
trend
because
that Disney
there
has.
are a lot of people who just, it kind of has become like a line in the sand that they will not cross. And there are
Yeah, I don't know.
situations where I
It's
find it to
performative,
be
I
a
think.
lot uglier and a lot worse. I don't know. I don't want it to happen, but I still enjoy the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other ways to do it. Specifically like this, if I were to pitch you, I thought that if they were going to do another Andy, oh, that would have worked so well with Andy's story. Just the idea that you already have these siblings, does he fit in? And then he sees someone else like him because that's what that character already serves. So for
Right.
it to also be a spitting image of him, I'm not sure. I'm led to believe with the interviews that I've heard that it's actually Ridley. A lot of people want to blame my boy Fede, but it's Ridley because Ridley had those
Hmm.
prequels that he was leading up to something. Um, and this is kind of remnants of that. It's been really funny to hear a lot of people go back and like re-edit what their favorites are. Some people saying that they like 4 and stuff. I don't believe you. I think you're a lying, thieving adulterer at heart. I rewatch these movies and I know you're just trying to do clicks. But when it comes to the prequels, I think it's fair if you're a bigger Alien to Aliens fan, if you like Prometheus and Covenant. But if you like Prometheus and Covenant, y'all gotta chill, bro, because this movie is that. It's the remnants of what Ridley wanted to do. That's why we have that character. That's why we have some of the scenes where they literally call back Prometheus with certain substances. And I'm curious to see where they take that because I don't know if you got this at your screening, but Hulu's also got a show called Alien Earth.
Yeah, Alien Earth.
It's yeah. Remember when Prometheus came out that didn't have Alien? It was literally just called Prometheus. Like if you have a collection, it's ruined. You got to go to the P's. They then made him call it Alien Covenant. And I don't know if you've ever seen the logo. Like when they put Alien Covenant, Alien is so big and Covenant is so tiny. It was all a marketing thing. They have realized that people are so dumb. Y'all who are supporting Ridley now should have supported him when he was making the stuff. Alien Earth is another one where it's called Alien Earth, but they're almost doing the Monarch thing where they're going to be focusing on the Wayland Corporation.
Yep.
So for a lot of the people complaining about this one and it being too much of the callbacks, and too many, that's funny, too many aliens in an alien movie. Once we start with the Wayland stuff, I'm curious to see how people are going to take that because I feel that's going to be a full drama. That's coming from a showrunner that's done Fargo and a lot of other FX stuff, and I think that's going to be really good. But to kind of wrap with this movie.
Yeah, and just
Feather
to put
knows how to make
a
horror.
button on that, Alien Earth is going to be on FX Hulu sometime in 2025.
Oh, we'll wait till you. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I'm happy to see the like behind the scenes when it comes to the bureaucracy of the company.
Right.
But they've also said Hulu has Prey. My man, the aliens. I would love to see a co-director collab. Can you think other than brothers, any co-director collabs?
Yeah, it's
Like, what is it,
strange.
the
I can't.
Russos.
Or
Those are gone,
what was
Safdie's
the
gone?
Quentin Tarantino Robert Rodriguez thing? I don't know if that even counts though, because they kind of made their own movies. Planet Terror,
You're
was
right,
that
but
what it
that
was
is the
called?
closest. Yeah, the Grindhouse. Yeah. That is the closest
Yeah.
thing. Because when he
But
when
it
he
doesn't
pitched
happen
it, I was like,
often.
right? How cool would that be? Not even just because it's Alien versus Predator, but just the conceit, the idea of
Yeah,
two
yeah.
directors coming in to hash it out. I don't know. I really like that. I think streaming may make that a possibility. So I would be game for something like that because I think the AVP movies are dumb fun. So to actually have some good directors behind it, I think would be really cool. And Fede, like I said right there, with the Don't Breathe movies, Evil Dead, Alien, all this stuff is to me a horror director who is not playing by the rules. I love the fact that he went into Alien and made it his version of what he wanted to see. The gore, there's specific shots with the facehugger. That thing was nasty, bro. I rewatched Prometheus and too much of it was CGI. I think you can feel it when you got practicals going down these poor kids' throats. That last sequence, I don't know if you heard who plays a certain bit towards the end, but it's a basketball player. I don't know if you've heard anything of this.
Yeah. He's what, a Romanian basketball player or something like that.
Bro, wise, when you search him up, isn't he scarier in real? Isn't he scarier since that's a movie and he's actually on our Earth?
Right? Like you're supposed to be scared of the creature in the movie,
Yeah.
but he looks like that in
That
real
man.
life.
It's like the wind's holding him back and stuff. But that's what makes that final sequence so good. Because you're looking at that and it's an actual person that they're reacting to. When the cast was coming out saying like y'all aren't ready, it's because I don't think they were ready. I think they really were scared with what was in front of them. I don't know. It worked so well. I really like the horror aspects to it. I think this is a movie that really knows how to hold on the tension. I think the space scenes were beautiful, dude. I would go as far as to say it's some of the best space shots we've gotten since Gravity.
Yeah, it does feel like epic and fully realized in a way. It's really well done. I'm curious how you felt about the pacing of the movie because I'm seeing a lot of people complain specifically about the ending.
How so? What'd they say?
I don't know. I mean, I'm as you know, I had a flat tire and only got to see the movie this morning, so I waited to read some of the spoiler thoughts. So I'm seeing just a lot of people say that it blew it in the third act, and I don't know. I kind of dug the third act.
It's because they lying, Zach. I'm telling you, bro. I've been hearing people say some of the weirdest stuff. I saw someone pitch like, I saw some people saying why not kill the aliens with their acidic blood. Zach, would you like to answer the most obvious question? Why the acidic blood that lives within the aliens wouldn't hurt the aliens, bro? I think it's just a matter of giving way too many people opinions. And I was kind of
Yeah.
telling Alina this. We have this realm where you look at the movies online, right? Like this. You got a
Mhm.
decent score. You can go check the IMDb. You got a decent score. But like you said, you hear a lot of people complaining. I think you look at the Deadpool scores. I think you look at the Trap scores. I think whatever the score is telling you, whatever you're hearing, just showcases to you that we have allowed the internet, like I said, to allow everyone to scream, complain, and say whatever they want. But I
Mhm.
don't think they really believe it. We were just talking about people are re-reviewing Prometheus and they're re-reviewing Covenant. Now they like them. So Zach, what does that say? I gotta wait 10 years for them to like Romulus. I'm not waiting, bro. I'm here. I enjoyed it for what it is. It's good. This idea of pacing, I think, is just like I don't know, baby's first critique. They're learning new words to say that I guess they don't have to fully like defend. Because when it comes down to like actual points, I think what he did here was fantastic. I think this is a movie where regardless of all the fan service that's done there, the characters, the story, and the themes, I think we're able to elevate a lot of what this Alien franchise is known for. Not just of the, honestly, xenophobia that these things are supposed to represent, this journey of these people wanting to leave, and again, a robot story that I think is fully fleshed out. And I am one who wants to see Ridley finish the prequels. He's supposed to have one more installment. And if you guys are complaining about this one, not realizing he's producer on this one, it has elements of his trilogy in this one. You're the ones shooting yourselves in the foot. Go watch Alien Romulus. I think it's going to be the start of getting a lot more movies out there for the Alien franchise as we're in a sort of reboot. I definitely see this as a legacy follow up, but I think
Mhm.
if we had a barometer of what is a good version, to me this is one of the best versions. Even if a line or two stretches it a bit, I'm not throwing 2 hours out the window for two lines. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah, definitely. I had a really good time with it. I kind of wanted to see it again on a less frantic day.
I
I
must go.
ended up going 3.5 stars on it. I saw you went
That's good.
4. Should we go? Should we go with the 3.5 in the heart for the Intercut account, letterboxed account?
But when you rewatch it, you give it four. I expect you to post four.
All right, 3.5
Three and a
in a
half in the
heart.
heart. And a patch.
Yeah, yeah. And a reminder that you can follow the Intercut Letterboxd account to get the latest reviews from our podcast, as well as weekly lists that we put up featuring every movie we talk about on the Weekend Must Watch. So if we reference a movie and you're kind of wondering, oh, what is that movie? What were they talking about? You can head over to our Letterboxd lists and add it to your watch list.
666. This next one, we're gonna keep it like a letterbox log. To be completely honest with you, we got two movies. We got two movies that came out. I'm just gonna wrap them into one. There's these streaming movies that come from people, actors, even directors that are big. But what's the point? I caught this one late last night because I saw that you had seen it. I was just gonna skip it, bro. The Union, the new
Yeah.
Netflix movie starring Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry that got together because the credits told you that they might have had a thing when they were younger, and now we gotta put up with a streaming movie. Zach, explain to the people what the heck this is.
I mean, aside from like the blandest, most run of the mill kind of action comedy you can think of, The Union is a movie about Mark Wahlberg playing a New Jersey construction worker, taking the boy out of Boston for a little bit.
So goofy, bro.
And he goes suddenly from a regular guy to an aspiring spy as his long lost high school sweetheart recruits him into an espionage mission.
No, say that again.
Why?
Say that again. Say that again. Like, why is that the plot?
Why? Like, it's really, like, sometimes when these sort of regular guy gets thrust into a spy situation movies, it feels like it makes sense. It feels like, oh well, they happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, or they do
Yeah.
actually have a set of skills that would help them out here.
Yeah.
There's one point late in the movie where Wahlberg runs around beams like he's a foreman or whatever. It's like, oh, he's using his construction worker superpowers. They finally kicked in. Aside from that, there's so little motivation to what's going. It's the most like, all right, let's just come up with something so we can set them on a European adventure kind of prompt out there. And it just sort of, it's really a nothing movie. I
Yeah.
saw it this weekend and I have so little to say about it.
Yeah, I feel like I have even less because it's so bland. This man has made a version of this already. When he was over on Apple, he did the one with the family, right? Was it called the Family Plan? Please don't tell me it was that generic.
I think it was the Family Plan.
Well, you know what? At least he's keeping it simple, right? It's forgettable but rememberable at the same time. Like you described, it's who hires their ex for an espionage mission? Would you even bring an ex on for a podcast reviewing movies? Like, why would you take them overseas?
If there's no
to fight what?
Yeah, there's absolutely no logic to it, and it's just because, like, well, he's Mark Wahlberg, so of course.
Right.
But like, if he's Mark Wahlberg, like, give him a bigger reason to be there. Have him, have a past where he was, a star wrestler and he can fight really well,
Something.
or he was a really good archer in high school, so he knows how to take a shot. It never really makes sense, and it's so half-assed. And I think the funniest thing about it is, I don't know if you've heard the director talk about why they don't actually end up having a kiss in this movie. We have a Twister situation where the couple doesn't actually kiss.
Spielberg was in the edit for this one too?
He said Netflix told him to save it for the trilogy.
What? The trilogy of what?
Yeah, he apparently has 3 films in mind. The Union sequel, the Union multiverse.
They got to unionize at Netflix to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen. This has a line in the movie that says, Jersey James Bond, we're not getting a trilogy for this. We shouldn't even got in the first one.
Yeah, exactly. It's dead on arrival. He said to Variety, you have to think of this as a 3-movie idea.
No. You have... What? I can barely think of it as a 3-act structure.
It's barely a 3-minute idea.
Yo. Did it even look like they were at any of these places? You know how we usually, like, we put up with these because they're like, these people went on a vacation. Were they even in some of these places, dude? Are they even in half of the movie when it's their stunt doubles?
Yeah, it is so half-assed. It is so, like, stitched together. It's one of those movies where the action, all the action beats, like, you can see the stunt double sort of waiting for their turn to get hit by Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Oh, that's so bad, bro. Yeah, no, there are just elements to this. And even outside of the action, you would think you're getting charismatic stars, right? At least they're supposed to have some sort of background. I heard Alina watch this movie in the background while I was editing during the weekend. So when I saw it last night, I could not believe that this was the horrendous dialogue I was hearing her listen to. There are sequences where it doesn't even look like they're in the same scene, and they deliver these lines the worst that some, like, YouTube reviewers say. Today I'm going to review a movie. The plot is... I could not believe how butchered this was. I don't think anyone cared about the script. They clearly didn't care about their performances. It's lit like a sitcom. The action's not that good. And they want a trilogy? This must have been made real cheap, bro.
Yeah.
He says pot the ka.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. He's the most Boston-sounding New Jersey dude I've ever heard of. And it's so funny because they get Dr. Melfi from The Sopranos to play his mom, and she's got a completely different accent than him.
Wait. No, it's not. That's who she was?
Her voice, it triggered instantly for me.
Why,
Trevor Adams
bro?
in the live stream says, this kind of similar to Ghosted, sounds like it has some parallels. This is the exact same movie as Ghosted, and Ghosted somehow might be better.
Damn, dude. Oh, that's bad. Someone, if we can pull up the tweet, maybe in post or something, someone said, you know what, leave it to Mark Wahlberg to go to bed, was it at 8 p.m. before a kindergartner, wake up at 4 before the world's ready, work out for 3 hours, on to deliver us? The Union on Netflix. I'm going 2 stars on this, bro, and that's even being nice. I'm giving it 2 stars because there's such a I'm spoiling it. There's such a stupid scene where she has the guy who's evil in the movie. It's the dumbest twist. Halle Berry puts the gun up to his face. His boys put the guns up to her. And the guy's girlfriend goes, I'm out of the movie. Remember me now that you're telling me, remember me for the sequel. And she leaves with his goons. It's so bad. It's so bland. Dumb. And Jackie Earl Haley's in this movie.
Right.
Like,
shout out to
to
Rorschach. Where you been?
Yeah. Wow. You got Academy Award winner J.K. Simmons in this. Like,
yeah, it's not a half bad cast.
I don't get it. I look at this and I compare it to The Instigators from last week, which we thought was decent. They were starting to make that look like a masterpiece, bro. I'm happy that we didn't have to trudge out to theaters to see something like this, because back in the day, you and I have been doing this long enough, I would have given myself a flat tire. I would not have wanted to have gone to this, bro. Dude. You know what? It's almost thankful that this is coming out on streaming, because this would have been
the thing,
horrendous.
right? And this is like, unfortunately, this is kind of what a lot of streaming has offered us, is these movies that are just not good enough for theaters. And there is the promise that like Netflix is going to put a bunch of money into it, and sometimes they hit. They really, like, there's great Netflix movies. I'm not going to say that there aren't great Netflix movies, but there's also a lot of The Union.
Too much of The Union.
Going
2 stars. You going lower?
I might go 1.5, but we can do an Intercut 2-star on this one. It is
no, bro.
pretty weak
I would
movie.
drop it down to 1.5 too. I don't care. You gotta convince me.
Let's do that.
That's terrible. Hey, is there the opposite of a heart? Should have like a knife on that bad boy.
Give it a fart.
Ooh, let's move on to this next one over here. Jackpot. Don't get it twisted. You might not be able to find it on Letterboxd's incredible SEO search bar if you don't have the exclamation point there, because there is another Jackpot, but it shouldn't be confused with Paul Feig's Jackpot. What are your thoughts on Paul Feig now that we've had some more of his installments out there? We've reviewed a couple of his. Where would you fall?
Look, I have a lot of loyalty to Paul Feig. I think he's delivered a lot of great comedies. I've read some of his books. I think. Shoot, what is it
Ghostbusters Behind the Scenes?
Bedwetter or something like that.
Like an actual narrative.
No, it's like reflections of his adolescence and growing up. And he said a lot of the stories that he talks about in that book ended up being inspiration for a lot of the stories that he would put into one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm pretty sure you love it as well, Freaks and Geeks, which he was a key writer on along with Judd Apatow. So like I have history with this guy. I like a lot of the stuff he's done. Bridesmaids, hilarious comedy. I think Spy, super underrated. I've even enjoyed some of the stuff in between. This is the nadir. This is the low point. This is the cry for help. Paul Feig, I don't know how you're doing, but I hope it's okay, and I hope it'll be better than this soon, because wow. I guess it makes sense that he didn't write this one, because I could not imagine Paul Feig writing a script this poor. Sorry?
Did someone write?
That's a great question. Rob Yescombe is credited with writing this one. And if you look at his IMDb, if you look at his Letterboxd, you won't see a lot of credits. But if you go over to IMDb, you'll see that Rob has a pretty illustrious history in writing for video games, for Arizona Sunshine 2, The Twilight Zone VR. He's the narrative director on The Invisible Hours, and he wrote Rhyme. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense that this is a guy who came from the video game world, because this kind of feels like a video game at times, like with a lot of sort of NPC interactions and just quick thrown quips that aren't really that clever.
Yeah, I can see that. It also explains Outside the Wire now too, which was also a Netflix movie.
There you go. I think that this is like an okay premise. Essentially, the premise of this movie is like, it's The Purge, but there's a lottery also. right?
I said it was The Purge with that Bow Wow movie where he won the lotto ticket. Do you remember
Exactly.
that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Probably more like that quality. But this is another one like The Union in which there's just so little effort into this
it's better
story,
though,
like
right? It's better.
than The Union.
I-
I put them
by a Noah Lyles nipple, bro. Like just by a little bit over the finish mark.
sure,
Not
fine.
by a
I will
lot.
give you that. I look, if you're asking me which one I would even consider rewatching, it's this one easily.
Yeah.
But we often talk about like the hit miss rate on jokes, and this has got one of the lowest batting averages I can remember in a comedy. There are so many punchlines that just do nothing. They
It's
throw them
so
out
dumb.
there and they land in the dirt.
Before we even get to the punchlines, bro, why is the premise that we went into a Great Depression and what fixed it was that we randomly have a bunch of money to give out in a lotto? And then everyone's got to
one
kill the person
every
right? I don't get like The Purge was
And then-
dumb, but it was like people are expressing themselves and they're like
Right.
they're getting the anger out of them. Some pseudo-scientific stuff, right? And they kind of explain it later in the series that it was fake. What's the mathematics here, bro?
It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. You know, just think
None.
about the cost of destruction to the city that happens when they go on this wild chase after
Thank you, bro.
Aquafina. But the worst decision is what they do with Aquafina's character, because California has instituted the lottery purge and she
Yes.
hasn't heard of it because she watches too many shows with her mom.
Ridiculous.
How do you
bro.
not
How would you
hear about
by
the
accident,
lottery purge?
right? We know they're trying to get rid of cars, the wildfires, and everything that's happened over there. You don't
Right.
think you would have heard about this?
I could tell you LA's mayor, but I would know if they were actively killing people for money.
It is the dumbest thing that it wants you to believe. Yeah, it's ridiculous, bro. On top of that, when she comes over here, she's a child actress as well, and
Yeah.
the idea is that she's coming back into the business after taking care of her mom, and while doing auditions, she ends up accidentally. That's the worst part too, right? It's also like the little parts of how it's directed that are so goofy. She accidentally becomes a contestant or is able to get a lotto ticket of some sort through this ID little punch card that they have. It's like a little iPad, little like iPad Nano. She wins, and they have the infrastructure to update everybody. A drone follows her. There is even a company that set out to protect her just so they can get a cut of the money if she's able to make it by sunset. And that's where you get this independent contractor of John Cena. I think John Cena's a cool guy, bro.
Yeah.
But damn, can you tell when they're going, John Cena, go ahead, this is your take. Like, there was a certain sequence in a vault, a panic room, and I'm like, this 100% is going to overstay its welcome in the bloopers. It 100% during the credits. It's him just going on and on with all these other riffs that he had. I hate also when they have John Cena fighting people half his size, and we're supposed to believe that, and then midway through the fight he picks them up and just shuts them.
Yeah, the physics of this movie are really weird because there's a lot of like hand-to-hand brawls, and then John Cena will kick a person and they'll sail across the room. Another thing that felt
Yeah.
kind of video gamey to me.
Yeah, through and through, for sure.
I don't know. I mean, I like John Cena. I just feel like there is a thing with him where he's not enough to carry a movie like this, right? Like he does kind of need the writing for him. As charming as he can be, people give Aquafina a lot of flack. I didn't think she was that annoying here. Like I didn't think she was that funny either, but
Yeah. They have
Yeah.
some good ones. There's like some meta jokes that they make in terms of like her starting off as a YouTuber and him being a wrestler. There was stuff, especially towards the end, that kind of got me to giggle a little bit, and that just made me more mad than anything. One of them says, I don't even think it's her. I think it's her roommate who was also.
she was on that Vanessa Bayer show that we like.
Yes, okay. That's like the last good thing I remember her being in. She is in the Steph Curry show. She's the one who gets convinced, okay, I'll pretend my daughter's sick so that I could get Steph Curry money. She got one line in this where she's like, I'm great at improv. I just need time to prepare. Paul Feig's like still there somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Like that.
Yeah.
Does that director can't disappear. It's not that he's missing the talent, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, it's also that like Paul Feig's talent is in comedic timing and getting funny
Mm,
performances, and I think this movie also really relies on the action set pieces being thrilling,
yeah,
but they're
but
just they
nah.
don't ever really, the physics never make sense, they're not that exciting. You either
You don't like
don't
the Shang-Chi
believe that they're
reunion?
in peril or they're in way too much peril for it to make sense. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Shang-Chi shows up, which I guess is a bit of a cast reunion between Simu and Aquafina,
you know,
but
but
he
for what?
he has none of the charm that he does in the Barbie movies.
Nah, he's kind. I mean, I've been seeing this boy's been playing the exact same thing. It's the I'm gonna walk up to someone bigger than me and Bart. I'm gonna walk up to someone bigger than me and Shang. I'm gonna walk up
Mhm.
to someone bigger than me and Al. Bro, it's the same thing. Like I need to see you stretch those acting muscles. Let's do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Also, it looks like this is the reason why he keeps getting hurt and why they keep saying Shang-Chi needs to be postponed. It's because he tries to do most of his stunts, and I'm like, for what, bro? You don't need to be jumping around. Give it to somebody
Mhm.
else. He said he did the same thing for Atlas. Um, can you explain Machine Gun Kelly and this thing that he's been trying to do of continuously playing himself to the point where he's not even pretending to be a character like MGK? This man's just MGK now.
Yeah, I don't really understand it in a s- other than
He's trying
kind
to
of just
funny.
flooding the market with yourself, where you almost like it's like the Mike Tyson approach, where if you just sort of show up a lot, you become like, hey, it's my buddy Mike Tyson. I forget
Oh,
all about the bad things that you did.
he's
Uh,
he's trying to have a hangover moment.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, like it feels sweaty. It feels like he's trying to have that hangover moment.
Yeah, he wants to be the bit almost. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Look, overall, I thought it was pretty goofy. I don't know if they're trying to do a trilogy with this one too, since this one's over on Prime, and they also have kind of like an outro where they change the rules
Well,
for next year's Jackpot.
right? Like they kind of kill their premise at the end of their movie.
Yeah, it was really goofy. Again, I am going to say that it's better. Than, honestly, this makes me want to go back and take a half star because I cannot. I think there's a difference just by a half star between both of these movies. I cannot give this 2.5. But I can't take a half star away from the other one. So I might have to go back and do that because at least this made me chuckle towards the latter half of it, even though it's just too dumb for the jokes to even hit a majority of the time. But Jackpot, Jackpot 1 out on Prime
Yeah.
right now. You don't
Yeah,
know what
you
to
gave
do?
it the 2 star there. I might give it a 1.5 on my personal, but I'm happy going a 2 star on the Intercut letterboxed for us.
I think if we collect all of our stars for today, I don't think we'll even reach 10.
It's rough out there.
It's
We're
rough out there, but
resembling the medal count of a small European
uh,
nation.
I'd rather it be I'd rather it be at home instead of having to go out to the theater. So I guess that's
True.
the best thing that I can be thankful for.
True.
That's it for this week's movies, though. Again,
Yeah,
if you get the
light.
chance to go out to your theater, I highly recommend Alien, bro. Alien is really good. If you're able to get some of these, snatch these bad boys up, and definitely watch it in IMAX. One thing that he said in IMAX I thought was really cool. I didn't even say this for the LME, but it's that he shot. Do you remember when they gave out this Alien Romulus VHS tape for press? Did you hear about that?
I don't think I did.
They had talked about giving certain members press material where FedEx said
Huh.
release it. It needs to be recorded onto a VHS, and it has some interviews, a featurette, and honestly a really good scene that I kind of needed for my edit. And they put it in here, and it's the only thing that's in the IMAX ratio of 1:9. And he said if you go see it in IMAX, you're technically seeing it the way I want you to, which is like that old school. You caught this movie as if it came out in between Alien and Aliens. Bro, if anyone got a copy of this, hit up your boy because this looks dope.
That's dope. That
Oh,
is a really, really cool promotion.
I think you can find it online. Someone did like a clear rip of it so you can see what the footage is. But damn, I would love to have one, bro. To have it on film, oh, beautiful, beautiful,
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah. Art, we're getting a little more static on your end. I don't know if you can maybe like unplug and replug your mic. I'll mute you for now. You can unmute yourself after you try something. But yeah, maybe that should be a marketing tactic for all of these like legacy sequels and stuff. If the original movie came out on VHS, maybe you have to put your sequel out on VHS too, so people can complete their collections. Can you try hitting unmute on the StreamYard?
Still
There we
staticky?
go. Yeah, still a
Really?
little staticky, unfortunately.
Damn, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
It seems like it was coming from the camera. Like the audio was not being picked up by your mic.
It's not. It's weird because I do have it through my mic. I said nothing but good things about synthetics, so there's no reason for them. I am switching it over to my AirPod audio. Does it sound any different?
It sounds different. It sounds a little more robotic. I'll leave
Dear
it up
Lord.
to the live stream if they prefer that, because you are louder at least now. And we can be clear. We'll fix these issues between this stream and next week's stream as well.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there we go. I think that sounds clear.
Testing.
I like that.
Oops. Pick it
No
up.
static. All right. To me, that's the best you've sounded in a bit. So
Testing. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure. I don't know. Does it sound different?
let's roll with it. It sounds better.
Oh, but now I can't hear you. See, I think it's my whole system.
It's good.
Second.
I'm typing to
What was that?
Arturo that it sounds better.
We're
so at
doing this
least
in
he-
sign language.
Yeah. I
Podcast,
gotta
more
do a
spelling.
quick ASL lesson for me.
It finally works, but I gotta text you. I'll listen into the live stream and I'll communicate through here.
Perfect,
Let's see.
perfect.
Someone chat saying that it's fixed right now. Hopefully it stays that way. For majority of it, it should still be recording off of my end for through Audition. So hopefully it comes in through. But if it does flake out, just let me know again. But big shout out to the chat. I see some people also agreed with us when it comes to those streaming movies. Not that good. I don't think any of those really stood out. What do we have last week? I had mentioned the Mark Wahlberg one, which is kind of decent. Technically, out of all of these, I feel like the Fly Me to the Moon movie was the one that somehow made it out and got to theaters.
Right. Well, did you actually like Fly Me to the Moon? I think of the
It
Apple
was
movies
out of
recently
everything?
is
Yeah.
Instigators maybe, or Fly Me to the Moon.
I got them pretty close. I think I'd have them both tied at 3s.
Yeah.
So, because I do think now, especially after watching these, Instigators would not have been the worst thing to have seen in theaters. I do
Yeah.
like the Instigators a little bit more that I think about it. And that's your boy, your director. That's what you need. A really
Doug
good one over
Lyman,
here.
the guy with the most controversial 3-star movies of any director working, feels like.
Hey, he's given the best 3-star movies this
Yeah.
year.
He's never had a smooth production.
Let's get into the movie news of this week. We've got
Let's
a
do
couple
it.
of stuff. The first one that I saw that popped out on my feed was one thing that we had talked about in the past, and that was this idea of that sports, what was it, app that they wanted to make that was supposed to combine Disney, Fox, and I think Warner Brothers. And immediately, I think it was Fubo who does their own streaming service. I guess you can call it streaming service, cable. They go off data. So to me, it's kind of like two different things.
Yeah. It's the closest that like a streaming bundle gets to being a cable package, because you
Right?
you get a whole group of channels. Yeah, and it's useful for cord cutters.
Do you have? Because I bum off my brother's Xfinity. I get the streaming services. He gets the
Mhm.
Xfinity. Do you? I know you're also a big sports fan. Do you use any particular one?
Yeah, I still have cable because my building, the TV and internet, it's all tied
Okay,
together. I
yeah,
can't
that's
only
right.
get one.
That's
But
crazy, bro.
I encourage my parents to be cord cutters. They're despite being seniors, they are all
Yeah.
streaming. In fact, my dad picked up Fubo recently so he could watch all the
Really?
Euros. Yeah.
Wow. So again, the interesting thing with Fubo is that they don't go off cable. If you get Fubo, every time you stream, it's counting towards your data on your internet plan. So that's the
Mhm.
behind the scenes kind of interesting thing that they have going on, because that's been like a big accusation for them. It's like, oh, yo, you're almost like helping eat up data for a lot of people's things.
hmm
Here they were fighting against other people who are eating into their market, which is the sports department. I think this has been a big deal with streaming services all having their stuff. We were kind of split on it. You said that this was kind of an interesting idea if you just wanted a sports package. I like the idea of having a plus with Peacock, a plus with Netflix. I want it to already come with my stuff, but I can see
Mhm.
people wanting individual things. Turns out they got their grant to at least pause it, it seems. The request
Yeah.
to block. So it seems like
Yeah,
there's
and
something there. that hasn't been fleshed
Yeah,
out.
and the New York federal judge who blocked this blocked it on anti-monopolistic grounds because there is sort of the fear that
Ooh.
if the cable companies can control all aspects of delivery, that there won't be room for competition, that they
Yeah,
can just price
exactly.
gouge and stuff like
Yes.
that. I feel like this ruling to me reminded me a lot of the Paramount decrees in the 1930s when they ruled that the movie studios couldn't own theater chains, which has since been thrown out. So I don't know, but it's
Crazy,
sort of
right?
just it's just a little bit of a legal defining of like your role is as distributor, not as provider, and that they're sort of this establishing sort of like
Mm,
different venues for different companies in a way to
that's a good point.
encourage there to
Yeah.
be more options for people. So I like choice. That's the main thing. And I thought this idea of a combined Disney Fox WB package gave consumers a new choice. You could choose Fubo, or you could choose this combination, or if you just want, you can just get Disney, right? And that with choice, there's the option of, maybe you want to go for the more expensive thing, maybe you want to go for the less expensive thing. But there is also the idea that if this is allowed to happen, then they can always undercut the price of a third
Yeah.
party like Fubo. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I maybe even if it is even if it has the possibility of decreasing prices in the short term, clearly the judge seems to think that this is
Yeah.
something that would increase prices in the long run.
Bro, when you see the Mean Girls get together at the lunchroom table, you know they're not up to anything good. Disney,
Yeah.
Fox, WB coming together, that I smelled it from a mile away. And this has been happening for the longest time. I remember when YouTube TV introduced a lot of sports, and then all the cable companies said, and they tried to like add a, I mean, we all know this, right? Those boonk, like just random fees that you get for cable, an
Yeah.
installation for the installation of the installation type stuff. It's just them playing with it again. I do see that's an interesting take though. The idea that like a theater is just there to showcase the movies people are distributing. What do you do now that we are our own theaters where people are at home, where we're
Hmm.
watching everything, consuming at that? How do you individualize it? And when we've always said this, right? Universal is Comcast. Warner Brothers was AT&T for a while. Like they're all really internet providers. It's crazy.
Hmm. Hmm.
We're in the 360s. We don't even realize it. They said those Disney Plus terms and conditions were bad. I don't even know what else we've signed.
Yeah, geez,
Any thoughts
the
on that?
yeah, you're alluding, I believe, to the person who died at the Disney theme parks.
Yeah, a little blip that they had. Uh huh.
Oh, yeah, and just like one of the ugliest stories you can imagine about the way that people twist the legal system, right? This
Yeah.
this person had an allergic reaction at a Disney theme park, and their widower, I believe, is suing Disney over that, and Disney is trying to have the lawsuit tossed out because the
Insane.
widower agreed to a free trial of Disney Plus. Not even Disney Plus, a free trial.
Free trial. So that way, every time you've been hit with a free trial, that's like a subpoena. They've been getting you. That's insane to think that that's how they backdoored a lot of people. Ridiculous, bro. Yeah. And then it's I don't know if you've heard the other part. Also, it's funny that you search up Disney Plus death and it already knows what to put up. But the other Disney stuff with the X-Men creator had come out as well in all that behind the scenes mumble jumble that's been happening on why
Oh
they fired
yeah,
him right when the series had come out.
the X-Men
And
97 creator Bo something, I believe his name is.
bro, what is wrong with X-Men directors? And again, I don't know what's happened behind, but there's a through line.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
man also came out and is trying to defend himself by saying that
Bo
they were
DeMeo,
also
yeah.
messing with his contract and that it was in the background to get him. And it's kind of weird because it's like, I don't know, your accusations, again, accusations seem pretty sketchy. But then he says something that kind of sounds like pretty true because it's in the news. Disney's got
Right.
is getting caught doing this legalese. And he's saying, yeah, they do the legalese here too. I don't know, man. I think even when somebody is wrong, the party calling that party out could also still be wrong, and it's Disney,
Right.
man. You know, Disney is the reason why people were complaining about a certain AI element being used in this week's biggest movie, and now it turns out, even with the living, they got it out for you. Nasty stuff, bro, overall. But let's move on to Speculative news in terms of the Oscars. You got both of these decked up for the Oscars and the Emmys, so hit me.
Yeah, so a little bit of Oscars news, although it's almost non-news in that both there's two people who have been tipped to potentially host next year's show that have officially passed. The first being Jimmy Kimmel, who hosted 3 times already, hosted last year's awards, and who, while neither of us gets excited about, I think we both think he does an okay job. Like, he can steer the ship at
Sure.
least. Sure. He won't be back, so maybe that's cause to celebrate. I definitely am excited to see a little bit of a fresh face or a fresh voice, hopefully, guiding the show. But unfortunately, that fresh face will not be John Mulaney's, despite his excellent presentation at last year's Oscars and seemingly campaigning to be the host of the Oscars. He has also passed on the gig this year. It did come with some news that made me happy. Part of the reason he passed is he's apparently in the midst of working on more Everybody's in LA for Netflix. They're figuring that out. But he's also planning on being on tour, so it's more of a conflict of schedule than a lack of interest. So I don't know. What's the bigger news to you? No Jimmy Kimmel or no John Mulaney?
I'm happy Jimmy Kimmel's out just because I want something different. But it's sad because John Mulaney was probably one of the better ones that I wanted to see kind of take it. That's a person who knows how to perform live, can be quick. And I thought we both really liked his presentation when he did it last year.
Yeah.
I don't really, bro, give it to whoever. Get a robot to do it. I don't care. At this point, it doesn't really matter to me. I think they should focus more on all the other presenters. I don't really care too much about the tie-in person who, because at a certain point there's nothing Jimmy Kimmel can do that doesn't feel like he's wasting time during the show. I'm okay with a monologuer. I'm okay with an opening bit. But I think we're really losing out on the person who really ties it in together. Maybe it's because we just haven't had a good one, and I thought John Mulaney might have been that glue. That, like, right. You know, because we think back to like what hosting is really supposed to be, and it's not a nuisance who's just dragging it on as he tells you like, oh my gosh, these people speak too long. You don't speak, sir. Please leave. Take your jet ski. Let them talk. We go back to the Golden Globe days, bro. I think that was one where it's like when the awards mattered the least, that's when people pull up the best. Having the Ricky Gervais back in the day who are speaking for the audience and for the year and the events that happened. The Amy Poehlers and Tina Fey's. I'm at the point where they need to focus more on the ceremony itself than being so focused on a host, in my opinion. I think you can carry it through with a bunch of presenters over a host.
Yeah. Make sure you get Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig to show up. Bring Ben Stiller back. He would always do great bits. Jack Black was also a pretty good presenter. You got to fill the show with people like that. And then it will be an entertaining show regardless of who you have to host it. Even though I would really like to see somebody like John Mulaney host it, because as you mentioned, I think the thing that he's really good at is just sort of figuring out how to make the moment funny in a way that still feels on the show. And one thing that I don't really want in the next host is kind of, I think something that Jimmy Kimmel and Ricky Gervais did, Ricky Gervais more effectively, is sort of like making fun of this thing actually existing, this thing actually happening. I really want the return to a celebration of the movies. And I feel like John Mulaney's a guy who would have done that. I think Conan O'Brien's a guy who probably could roll with the punches and do that. You know, he's a guy who has a vast knowledge of film history, as evidenced by his podcast, if you ever listen to that. So I'm just hoping that whoever we get is more along those lines. But yeah, I do agree with you that ultimately what's going to make the show great is less the host and more the show itself.
It's crazy that when people get asked about it, they're always bringing up the fact that they don't want to. Like, that's just insane that we think it's like, oh, who's going to be able to host it? Will they be, Kevin Hart really wanted it. So people got this idea of like, oh my gosh, the loops, the bounds, what you need to do to make sure you can clear it. And people are like, I don't care. I don't want the checks and balances. I don't want to go up there. They don't even see it as a gift. So I don't know. That's funny to me, but yeah. Oscars, Ellen DeGeneres coming soon.
Yeah. Devesh in the live stream says, get the Only Murders crew. I like that suggestion. Even if you don't bring Selena Gomez along, just Martin Short.
I was about to say, bro, like what we're really saying there is the duo, not the trio.
Yeah. And Josh suggests Pete Davidson, which maybe I'm not so sure he
wants it. He got you. He don't want that. He don't want Skeet. Eugene and Dan Levy, though. What do you think?
Yeah, they've been set as the host for the next Emmy Awards, and it seems fine. It seems like it'll be good. I mean, they're entertaining enough. I'm a little bit like, okay, Schitt's Creek ended half a decade ago, but
About to
go
say
off.
that, yeah. Over
Yeah, I don't
under,
know.
how many Schitt's Creek jokes? I'm going over 3.
It's got to be over 3 for sure. I don't know, man. I think they're mildly entertaining. I've just
They're not bad.
yeah. To me, it's a safe pick, not an exciting pick.
And it's also the reason why they're taking it, right? We're saying, are you coming in to do a good show? Are you coming in because you care about it? Is it a job?
Right.
Both of these men have not really done anything outside of Schitt's Creek that doesn't involve, I am Dan Levy in this commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I am Eugene
Levy
in
is
this
playing
commercial.
Eugene Levy on the new season of Only Murders.
Wait, for real?
For real.
Bro,
He's
and
playing
then he's got
Eugene
that
Levy
travel
playing
show.
Steve Martin's character.
Oh my gosh. So it's like I see them here and it's like all you're doing is just recasting yourself. Not even for another role, right? Like I know he had that really sad movie for Netflix, but he does a lot of like vlogging, travel type stuff. So really what they're doing is auditioning their personalities. It also feels a little weird. It's like, I hope you do well, but it feels like an audition for other people. Something that the Bear duo had already done a fantastic bit for a couple years ago, remember? And now they're Emmy winners, so they're well past that. But Eugene and Dan Levy, this is coming out in the fall, right? If I'm not mistaken.
September 15th.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Zach Attack Reviews in the live stream says that they should get the Bear Crew to host. Again, I don't know how much interest they have in hosting. But
a bit.
What?
A bit. I think it was last year where they were able to bring back different crews.
Oh yeah, for a bit, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not as hosts, but as presenters, they're fantastic.
Let us know what TV series we need to catch up on because I got my list. There's a couple of shows, a couple of the anthology ones, especially that I need to catch up on before the Emmys, and we'll be covering that as well. But we also have our best of TV, and a lot of our favorites got nominated like we said they would. So definitely check that out. Let us know your picks, what you think got snubbed, what you think should definitely get more eyes put on it down below in the comment section or in the live chat. But it's time for the biggest part of the show.
The patrons. We got to thank the patrons.
Yes.
Big thanks to all the intercuties who help make what we do possible. In the Academy tier, they are Tushar, Cademan, Connor, Josh, May, Ricky, Joe, Wiley, Benji, Matt, and Jeremy. And then in the producer tier, we got Udenveer, Toon, and Brandon G. A huge thanks to all of you, and especially everybody on the Intercutie Plus tier as well, who you can see your names on the screen. But just a huge shout out in general for continuing to support the show. They are doing that either through the membership button here on YouTube. You can click join right below this video if you're watching us to sign up for as little as $3 a month, or you can head over to patreon.com where you can sign up for our Intercutie Plus tier, our Academy tier, or our producer tier and get all sorts of cool benefits. It's like seeing episode outlines early, taking a look at our brackets before we record those episodes. Even you can sometimes give us some input on what should appear on those episodes in those brackets. When we record episodes, you get to watch them early, including our best of 2014 video. So if you want to see what movies we thought are the best of 2014, got to sign up to be a patron to get to see it before the public does. But even if you don't want to sign up or you can't sign up for a patron membership, you can join on Patreon for free to get updates throughout the week, including a look ahead to to our future podcasts and stuff like that. It's a great way to sort of keep up with what's going on the show. So yeah, head over to patreon.com/intercutpod, sign up to become a patron, or stick with us right here on YouTube and hit that join button. We really appreciate all our members, and even beyond our members, we really appreciate when y'all head over to iTunes or Spotify and give us those much requested 5-star reviews.
I thought you were going to say your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, just anyone in your vicinity.
Look, if you have access to another person's account, just subscribe them to the podcast. Leave a 5-star review. They'll never know. They won't bother them.
Keeps on giving. Just one day they're gonna put you on to where you put them on in secret. There you go.
Exactly.
All right. we got a couple of stuff coming out. So let's play a little yay or nay over here with all of these new
do it.
theatrical releases. If nothing came out last week, it's because they were ready to dump it on this one. The first one that we've got right here is the new Crow movie that I think is like number 5. It don't really matter because it's a remake. The Crow,
Yeah.
directed by Rupert Sanders, who I don't know anything from. It has
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård. Yay or nay? Okay,
I mean, I look. I saw the trailer for the first time in front of I forget what movie recently, and I didn't think it looked completely awful, but
Okay.
this is a very delayed movie that has
Yep.
apparently had some production issues, and is a remake of a pretty cursed property. So I'm gonna go nay on this one. I don't know. That August release date might be speaking pretty loudly.
They're the only ones that got the memo to drop your crappy movie in August. And Borderlands too, but of course that came with a bunch of delays. But like you said, this one
Yeah.
too, I feel the same way. I'm not that excited about this movie, but it is the one that's technically getting the biggest release. Some IMAX, some of the premium stuff. So that'll be out this week. We'll be covering it. But the one I'm actually excited for, Blink Twice. It's a yay for me. How about you?
Let's go. I don't know why I got a little bit skeptical along the way, but I think I'm back in. I don't know.
Mhm.
I find the trailer to be pretty exciting. It's got a lot of people that I really like among the cast, and I also just like the Zoe Kravitz. So I'm very curious to see what she has in store behind the
Debut?
director's chair.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. I think she got canceled for a little bit, so people were like, "We're gonna cancel your movie too." She's like, "All right, I know how the cycle works. I'll be uncanceled by the time it comes out."
You know what I think? I think maybe I got a little bit less interested when they switched the title from Pussy Island to Blink Twice. I just thought the title Pussy Island was so fun.
That's right, bro.
But ultimately, it's just a
Damn.
title, and the movie looks pretty
right
fun.
there. They weren't gonna sell that, bro.
No, yeah, the MPA never would allow it. But
Oh damn, that would have been funny though.
yeah,
Blink Twice is interesting. I think that the trailers are intriguing. I've seen a lot of people kind of, there's always a reaction to it every time it's played before in the theaters. Everyone groans for that one with McAvoy. It's become like a meme now. People taking
Yeah.
pictures. This has been playing just as much, so I think it's a good barometer that people have not strayed away from it yet. Comes out this week. I'm intrigued with it, and they're really pushing this idea of her and Channing Tatum. With them being a couple, that they really pushed themselves in this movie. So we'll see how it goes.
right.
Is this the one where? No, right? Wasn't there one with Channing Tatum and Thandaway where she like ran away from him? This ain't the one, right?
I don't think so.
I don't know. There was another one that had to do with that, but either way, I'm looking forward to that one, and I'm also looking forward to this one, bro. I
Yeah.
remember, I think it was, let's see, what festival did he go to? Oh boy, Movie Files, Fantastic Fest. He came out with a glowing review, and I went, okay, add this one to my list. I then got more details on it as it rolled out of that premiere, and it had our boy, who to me has been in a lot of really good movies. I think he's
Yeah.
fantastic in Smile. I think he's gonna be coming back for Smile too. He's got a grip as a good character horror actor, and I've been hearing nothing but great things for this movie called Strange Darling. There was an alternative screening that happened where they had a Q&A where they Skyped in, and a lot of people who saw it there said it was fantastic. This might be the sleeper hit. It's gonna be a tight race between this and Blink Twice.
Yeah, I'm curious about it, particularly because of its cinematographer. Did you catch who shot this
Tell
movie?
him, bro, that came out of nowhere for me. Tell him.
Yeah, a true like what the heck? It's Giovanni Ribisi, the villain from the first Avatar movie.
You're so funny for saying that to me, the villain from Ted, bro. He tried to steal Ted. That's insane. And he is a good villain,
pretty
right? Because in
well-known
Horizon, he's a
actor.
villain too.
Right. Like, and it's also just interesting because like we've seen actors take up behind the scenes roles, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not unusual.
Nothing,
We
no,
just
no.
talked about Zoe Kravitz as a director. When's the last time you saw an actor become a cinematographer?
Cinematographer? That's crazy, bro.
Crazy.
So yeah, going from a villain to what I'm hearing is the hero of this movie, because they say that it looks stunning, it looks beautiful, that the performances are good, but that the story is crazy. I'm excited for it. I think he makes a lot of really good tiny horror flicks for the actor Gallagher. I don't know too much of the director stuff, but if this is the thing
Yeah,
that
me
puts him
either.
on, I'm excited for it. So,
Definitely.
Strange Darling, another pick that I'm very excited for. Tell them about Hellhole because this comes from a family that we've been shutting out for a minute.
Yeah, Hellhole is the new film from director John Adams, who is the patriarch of the Adams family.
Beautiful.
Not that Adams family, a different Adams family. I think we sort of first became familiar with them at the really awesome witchcraft film Hellbender, which not only was directed by John Adams, but it starred his daughter Zelda Adams, his wife Toby Poser, who co-directed with him. It also starred their other daughter Lulu Adams. It was a whole family production.
Yeah, family
So
affair.
it's just kind of cool. The family that works together,
Goes to
something's
hell
together. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worship Satan's together. Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. So yeah, they're back with Hellhole, which has been getting some cool buzz out of Fantasia.
Okay.
I'm definitely excited to check it out. It's about a fracking crew who discovers a centuries-old monster. So it is a monster movie, and they frequently work in the horror mode. This one is going straight to Shudder. So that's the style of movie I feel like we're getting.
Yeah.
But I've definitely got my curiosity piqued.
That's pretty good. Josh said they're the new Shyamalans.
The indie Shyamalans.
Yeah, they would be exactly what you want a Shyamalan to be because, like Zach said, they pass the camera around whenever the other person is on screen, which is the best part of it. You redeemed yourself, Josh, for the other comment that you did right there. I'm looking forward to this one. Hellhole looks pretty good. And then we've also got a couple more streaming stuff. Again, galore in theaters and streaming. Every service decided, screw it. Everyone's going back to school. We got you. The Killer. John freaking Woo.
Yeah.
What?
I feel like this should be a bigger deal.
I know, dude. And it's going to Peacock.
Yeah, because this is not just a new movie but by John Woo, but a remake of perhaps his most famous movie, which is insane. He's doing his own
Wow.
English language remake. Not completely
like.
unheard of, but
That's cool.
that
Yeah, I like that.
going straight to Peacock is a little bizarre.
Do you know what it's about?
Sorry?
Do you know what it's about?
What's her face? Is that Game of Thrones or is that Entourage? I forget.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones girl going crazy as a contract killer, basically.
Decent. And then what's his name? Omar Sy, I think, has for whatever reason just become the king of the streaming movies at this point. A lot of the stuff that he's been coming out with for Netflix and stuff like that, I know was doing numbers. And we'll
as
see
a
how
soccer
this does.
fan, I'm intrigued by the presence of Eric Cantona among the cast, the Manchester United legend. He's not unfamiliar with acting,
Wait, explain?
but this is a legendary soccer player, Eric Cantona. If you look at that movie Looking for Eric, which is up there, he plays himself in the movie. That's him on the wall, the poster.
Okay.
And also
Really?
him sitting in front of the poster.
That's a lot of IMDb credits for movies I would not expect, like
No.
Elizabeth.
Yeah,
What?
my man's an actor. He was also
Really?
one of the talking heads in that Beckham series because he played alongside Beckham at Manchester United a bit.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. Good actor?
Yeah, he's fine. He's
Okay.
really great in is Nike soccer commercials from around the year 2002. That's what he's excellent in.
I'll add that to my watch list. All right, The Killer coming out on Peacock. I don't think Peacock does those numbers like that, but
Yeah.
it'll be
They
there.
will after this movie.
Of course.
No, I don't think so.
This next one is The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. What a title. And I know it's supposed to be based off a true story. It's got a pretty good cast from Uzo Duba to Anjanou Ellis. And it's supposed to be, the tale of the Supremes going to go eat. Almost feels like, from when I first saw the trailer, when I thought it was going to theaters, that it was trying to do like a one night in Miami thing, but it's day.
Yeah.
So it's like one day
And
at a diner.
I think a lot of people thought that. If you look back at a lot of people's like early Oscar predictions, this was pretty high up on a lot of those lists. I think a lot of people were hoping this would be a prestige movie, and it's going straight to Hulu in August. So I don't know about that.
Wow. Yeah. So we'll see. It'll be available at home. It seems for the people who have gotten it early that it's been decent. It is a whopping 2 hours, but I'm assuming that a movie like this is going to depend on its performances, and they got a good cast for that. So we'll
For
see.
sure.
That'll be out on Hulu. This one, bro, I don't know if you heard about this. There is a classic movie called City of God.
One of my favorites.
They decided to make an HBO series. I don't know, bro. It's one of those where it's like, why? But then it makes you wonder. It's like you must have a good why, because that movie is one of those that like puts you on to international cinema. I remember renting that bad boy from Blockbuster. I'm iffy on this. I don't know if you've heard anything to convince you, but it starts this 25th on Max. And
Yeah,
it's also not. It's not HBO, or it is HBO. Okay, it is HBO. Phew, I was about to say, bro, they couldn't even give it the label. They did.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it looks like bringing back some original cast members, which is really curious. Like, I think they are
Really?
trying to, yeah, I think they are really trying to make this like the
20
extension of a
years
lot of those characters' stories.
after.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
didn't even see a
already
trailer.
did they already did sort of a sequel series to this Brazilian show called City of Men, which came out about 5 years after the movie and is really solid, but not
Same actors?
on the level of City of God. And I kind of have this similar expectations for this new City of God show.
All right. That's interesting. I did not know that they were bringing back some people. That makes me a little
Yeah,
bit more intrigued. At
yeah.
least
I
it
mean,
can't be ruining the original at that point by trying to
for
reset it.
sure. And look, like there's no world in which this is going to touch the quality of that original movie. That original
Just
movie
can't.
is amazing. It is a
Yeah.
5-star movie for me.
Yeah. So if
But
you have not seen it, this is your
yeah,
call to go see the original City of God because it's really good. As I said last week as well, catching up on season 1 of Pachinko, you need to go
yeah.
get on it. Season 2 is on the horizon. Zach was telling me that it's based off of a book and that this should be completing it. I don't know if they have plans for season 3 or not.
I'm not sure actually.
Season 2 starts this upcoming weekend, and it's definitely the thing to hop on because season 1 is incredible, and I can see Pachinko season 2 top on our list, especially when it comes to the end of the year because season 1 should have been on my list. So definitely hop on this one. It is a fantastic series over on Apple TV Plus. So big yay for me.
For sure.
And then you had 2 other picks over here that are in limited release. Tell me about The Becomers.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out The Becomers because it is the new film from Zach Clark, who I think is a really interesting filmmaker. His last film is way back in 2016. It was a movie called Little Sister. I don't know if you ever saw this one. Addison Timlin starred as sort of like like kind of a gothy character who was visiting her parents, and there's a lot of kind of fun, quirky humor in terms of the like mismatched characters in that one. I just thought it had a lot of charm and also just like a really fun dark side to it. But Zach primarily works as a film editor. And he does it in a
Oh.
lot of like pretty interesting indie movies. Perhaps my favorite film that he worked on was Always Shine, which I've shouted out
Yeah.
a bunch on the podcast. But like, if you are
Hey,
paying attention to
pretty
the
good.
indie scene, you've probably seen a couple of the movies. I see you've seen
Yeah.
plenty of the movies that he's edited.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and
that's
so
interesting.
I'm also, I tend to like when people who are putting in their work at a non-director job kind of
Yeah.
take a chance and get into the director's chair. And I liked his last movie as well. I think this one is getting some good buzz. It's got a bit of a like sci-fi tinge to it. It is about 2 body swapping aliens who are trying to sort of find their place on Earth.
Oh,
Sounds
Romulus.
kind of fun.
Of course. Great double feature.
Yeah.
All right, sounds interesting. I like some of the ones that he's edited. A Wounded Fawn, that's a very well edited movie.
There we
All
go.
right, sounds good. Keep this one on my radar.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then a quick
the
shout out to a movie called Catching Dust, which is sort of like a neo-Western in a way. It stars Jai Courtney and Erin Moriarty, which is sort of what intrigued me to the film. And I think if you just are looking for kind of like a low boil Western thriller,
mhm.
it's got sort of like an indie scope to it, but I thought it was intriguing. I thought it was really well paced and well acted.
Wait, you said
I dug this one.
Tribeca.
It was sorry.
Hold on, bro. I actually think it's clicking now. Do they live out in the middle of nowhere and then a couple comes in?
There we go. Yeah, yeah. You
No,
caught
you're
this
right.
at
You're right. You're right.
Tribeca
You're right. You're right.
also.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Okay. No, this one kind of decent. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I was like, bro, catching dust. I was like, it's catching nothing from me. I remember this now. Yeah. Good performance from her. If you guys were dissing her on The Boys, no, she got her acting chops really well set here. And you're right. Jai Courtney is pretty good in this because he
Yeah,
plays the rough husband. I'll put it that
exactly.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this one was pretty good. Yeah, that's a good recommendation.
Yeah,
Not
and
bad.
it just sort of ends up in this sort of like messy I don't know, love triangle-y thing where different allegiances get formed, and it's intriguing. I dug this one.
All right. Catching Dust. That wraps up the releases for this week. Some of the stuff to bring up here is someone. I had a double one. I was going to say Alien Romulus, of course, for my pick for the week, because if you did not get the chance to see it in IMAX, I believe they may have 2 weeks. I don't think they're giving it all to the Crow, because I saw that for this next weekend, they're still giving it to Alien, which I think is going to be really cool. But I'm going to double it up because we always forget, and I thought about this, and I found us to be guilty of it sometimes too. We'll catch movies really early and we forget, no, the most important part ain't at a festival. It's when it's out there to the public. So thank you. Who said it in the chat? I saw you starred them over here. Zack Attack? Thank you, Zack Attack. Sing Sing. Got to put it on the radar. I thought this was a fantastic, well, we kind of mentioned it last week in terms of it coming out, but now that it's coming out on limited release, I want to put it as my pick for the week, mainly because of his performance right here. We were asked last week whether we thought this was going to make it to Best Picture. It's going to be a lot. But I think performance-wise, we got to lock in right here. So if you're out going to theaters and you don't want to support Disney, I'm sure this is getting Disney money in some way too.
Yeah.
But you could go feel like you're supporting an indie movie in Sing Sing, because it's really good.
You remember last year when Past Lives came out in the summer, but it wasn't until it started to get like Oscar nominations that everybody started saying, "Oh man, have you seen this amazing movie? This movie means so much to me."
Yeah.
You have a chance to watch this movie 6 months
In a theater.
before people start doing that.
Yeah, it's very good. And definitely worth watching in the theater because of the way that it's shot and fantastic performances. So my double feature there in theaters. But then if you're going to be at home, I got a double feature there too from other South by or festival picks. The first being Sasquatch Sunset. You know, we had some people in our crew that weren't sure if they wanted to sit in the theater for this, and they ended up liking it. So I think there's a chance that you may like it at home. And if not, I mean, you can just switch it off. It's going to be over on Paramount Plus. If you've got the Paramount, if you got the Plus, why not? I mean, you already wasted money on that bad boy. At least you can see some Sasquatches pooping in nature and doing a bunch of really weird things. All played by Riley Keough, Jesse Eisenberg, and even one of the directors in crazy makeup. But the other one, which I don't even know where I left the poster. When I went to go collect all that like merch that I came out of, they were giving out Between the Temple posters.
Oh,
and like
sick.
It was a lady at a table giving them out. Like, it was a whole bit just to show you the poster. Zach has the official Between the Temples.
The earmuffs?
Sundance merch. Yeah, that was a genius thing that they gave out, because then it's between his temples. And this was a cute movie because it's about a cantor who helps people with their bar mitzvahs, and then he gets an older lady who was his teacher, I believe music teacher, wanting a bar mitzvah at that age. And while everyone's like, I don't know if that's appropriate, they really start questioning if it's appropriate that those two start really liking each other. It's such an awkward, but honestly, very interesting movie about two people kind of stuck at a certain point in their lives and how they find each other and help each other move forward. So I recommend this indie one as well, which will actually be in theaters. So plenty of theater picks there. Also.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to double up on the Between the Temples pick because I really, really enjoyed that movie out of Sundance. It's sort of like a classic indie comedy about hurt people helping other hurt people. I've been calling it a melon comedy because it's got a lot of sadness in it, but it's got this like kind of dark sense of humor, and there's a lot of jokes and silliness. To me, it's just a really excellent showcase, particularly for its stars, Jason Schwartzman and Carol Kane, who are these really dynamic actors who have this ability to be kind of kooky and insane, but also like a little bit sharp and abrasive, and it lets them do all those things at the same time. Like these are prickly, warm people, and it's the kind of fully realized character that you don't really get from a lot of movies. Plus, just the Jewishness of this movie, it really resonated with me, and it all culminates in this amazing scene that we don't want to spoil, but hope that you get around to it because it's a very good movie. I like this one a lot.
Dali DeLeon. Do not worry about her cameo in this week's streaming movie Jackpot. You should be focusing on Ghostlight and Between the Temples. That was a really good double performance that she did there. A true supporting actress right there.
Definitely.
So that's a really good pick. You've also got, let's see, what's the other one they had over here? You had this Peacock show.
I do. Homicide: Life on the Street. It's a legendary NBC show, I believe. from the 90s. This was an adaptation of David Simon's book back when he was doing crime reporting in Baltimore. This predates The
Wire, bro.
Wire,
Yeah, I'm about
and
to
it
say
create
it's-
and it created a lot of the foundation for that show. Tom Fontana, I believe, was one of the creative forces behind this, and then he
Wow.
joined up with David Simon to work on The Wire for HBO. And so this a lot of the early bits of that perspective apparently can be traced back to this show, which has a stellar cast. You have Richard Belzer here before he would go on to have a whole career playing detectives on Law and Order and such. You have Andre Brower, my guy, the late Andre Brower, is apparently incredible on this show. I've never had the chance to see it because the thing about Homicide that is most interesting is it's never been available on streaming. I don't even think it's available on DVD. There have been rights. It's back in the evidence room. I think there have been rights issues. It's one of those shows where like they put a lot of music into it before they got the music rights, so they never could really get it up on a platform. It's on Peacock today. You can stream it right now.
Damn.
So one of the apparently legendary shows of the 90s is available to go back. So I've never seen it. I'm really excited to do that.
Sick. 122 episodes. All right, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have this one over here.
Yeah, and my last pick for the week is Smoking Tigers. This one is going to be available not just in theaters; it's actually going day and date to Max as well. So you can go out or you can stay home. We talked about Tribeca earlier with Catching Dust at that same 2023 Tribeca Film Festival. Smoking Tigers was actually the movie that ended up winning not just the festival award for best screenplay, it also won the award for best performance in a U.S. narrative. This is a movie about a Korean American teenager navigating life as she's transitioning from a child to an adult, looking into her future after school, the pressure of those environments, of those families, and sort of navigating all of that in Southern California in the early 2000s. So you get a bit of that like DD-ish period piece film thing going on. I found this one charming, authentic, relatable, and effective. So if you're looking for a story of coming of age, I would highly recommend Smoking Tigers.
Sick. Sounds really good. Doubling it back up, I've got my theatrical picks of the new Alien Romulus flick. If you want some really good sci-fi horror, I think he's been calling it a haunted house in space, then you definitely have to go see this one that my computer keeps glitching out that it doesn't want to show you, but y'all know it. Everyone's talking about Alien Romulus. The next one that I have would be Sing Sing right now that it's out on limited release. I think it is a fantastic performance. All around, honestly, because we even said that some of the supporting ones should be getting some nominations, hopefully, but we'll see how that goes. In Sing Sing, Sasquatch Sunset over on Paramount Plus, because it's just a funny movie. And then we've got our double up over here of Between the Temples. That was getting 2 thumbs up.
Absolutely. I'm giving that the recommendation as well on my picks for the week. I'm recommending the long dormant but finally revived NBC show Homicide, Life on the Street, the show which sort of laid the foundation for The Wire, which is one of the great American shows of all time.
Homicide, Life
and
on
apparently
the
this one's great too. I like the critic Alan Sepinwall, and he has raved about it throughout the years. So I'm excited to check this show out. I'm also excited to get another chance to check out the Tribeca Award winner, Smoking Tigers, a really well told coming of age story.
Sick. I'm gonna do a thing of Homicide and Columbo.
Beautiful.
Just gonna be hybrid.
Catch up on all your crime fiction.
On everything, all of it right there. Other than that, that is it for this week's show. Let us know your thoughts down below on all the movies of the week, whatever your favorite stuff was, whatever things we may have missed. Anytime that we get something late, we always bring it up. It becomes part of our topics of the week or yay or nays for the following moment. You could also check out right here, as Zach's got it pulled up, everything that we've talked about. Maybe we mentioned the movie and you're like, wait, what was that they talked about? We tried to put them all right here so you can follow along with our aggregated scores, movies that we've mentioned. You can copy the list. You can go through it, add whatever you need to your watch list. As you know, We're just here to serve you. We're here to give you whatever possible movie recommendations we can on the weekend must watch. If you need any of these clipped out, you can always go search up on the Intercut clips or the website to figure out what little excerpts that we had in case you don't want to listen to the entire podcast. But we always upload more here on Intercut every week like we do on the weekend must watch. You can find more from me over at LME Movies on all social media. You can find more from Zach
at Zshevich across social media, or at Multiplex Show wherever you find videos.
A reminder that you can listen to every episode of the Intercut Podcast on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, or whatever your favorite podcatcher is. And don't forget to leave us that 5-star review over on iTunes. We really appreciate that. A big shout out to all the Intercuties who listen live, everyone who's been in the chat. We really appreciate that. And all the patrons, because right after this, we're going to be jumping on our Patreon hangout for August. Going to be wrapping up the stuff for the month. I'm excited to talk some alien stuff. Hopefully everyone's seen it. We always have this one bit where we hop on the chat, right? And you can see this because we also do live streams. So in case you don't want to hop on, maybe you're busy, you can just listen into the Patreon chat. You get your own little live chat where you get to talk in with us. We always have this one moment where there's always one person who hasn't seen the movie. So you got enough time right now to go see the movie and jump on before we finish the podcast.
Exactly.
As we do the hangout right after this episode right here. But don't forget to leave us a comment, drop a like, follow the socials over at Intercut Pod. Zach, what did we chart this week?
Oh, we charted all over the world. We charted in Nigeria. We charted in Czech Republic. We charted in the UAE, in Singapore, in Portugal, in Poland, in South Africa, in the Netherlands, in Spain, in Australia, in Canada, in Great Britain, and of course, right here in the United States of America.
Beautiful. And it's only in the United States of America where you can get good movies like Alien Romulus. So don't forget to keep watching.
Actually, I think it's a worldwide release.
I'd say it is a worldwide release, but it came from America. It's a new director. It's like everybody British cast. Don't forget to keep watching movies. And until next time, comment, like, and subscribe, or Disney will CGI you.
Oh, no.